So welcoming everyone to the show this evening. I can see Dr. Chinedum Ikogwe, Mrs. Odion Ehigato, Dr. Mustafa on ground. So we're going to hit the ground running today, the third day of this episode. We're not going to waste time to try to wait for anybody. We just hit the ground running on social connecting and social skill intervention in therapy. We have said and stated over and over that the word therapy is not only meant for mental health experts, it's meant for everyone who is a professional and an expert of a sort. To say, oh, I'm an expert, I know my onions, and because I know my onions, I'm going to do well what I know to do well. Social connecting. Why do I need social connection? And what is the element of social connection? Does anybody want to tell us the importance of social connection? Why is it needed? Where is it needed? When do we engage it? Why do we engage it? Anybody? You can unmute yourself and share with us. Have you done any social connecting before? What were the impact assessments? What did you get? What did you gain via it? Well, I like to say we are all social elements. And in all our interests, interrelations, and interaction, we need to be able to connect with people in order to collect from them. You want to collect liability, asset, whatever it is, you need to be able to connect with them. A people you don't connect with and to, you can never collect from them. Everyone, you can see this in my hand. This is the charger for my phone. Now, until I connect this to a voltage source, a power source, it will never collect what I need to charge my phone. So life is all about social connection. And in therapy, it's so critical and fundamental to know how to connect with people, places, platforms, and the various opportunities that come your way. In fact, some of those opportunities will appear like opposition. You also need to know how to connect. That is why emotional intelligence is critical in therapy. Ability to connect with yourself, your state of being, emotionally, mentally, physical, and otherwise. Your ability to self-regulate. Your ability to also connect. Madam Juliana, can you mute yourself? Okay,
Can use your
mute
this
everybody.
I'm yet to know.
Your ability to connect with your environment, immediate environment, and know what regulates the system there. Your capacity to show empathy is critical in social connection. Where you don't connect properly, then it will affect the integrity of your diagnosis. You will skim on the surface. I was privileged to train in a training school not too long ago in Lagos of a highbrow federal government agency who are into serious revenue collection. And I say, see, when you go out, they came from across Nigeria, somewhere in Agidingbi, Keja there. And I showed them, see, that you are an inspector and all that does not mean, oh, you just go there because you are sent to come and collect taxes. You have to connect with the people. How did you meet them? In what status do you meet them? And I gave an example that you went to a shop of one mama you are expecting to pay tax, and you find her discipline her daughter. Don't sit aloof. Participate, engage. Do what we call organized distraction. And also put a word. Though that was not why you are there, but you need to be able to connect. And nothing says you must introduce the tax element you came for that moment. You can say, Madam, I come at another time, but I'm happy I sorted out this issue between you and your daughter. Very vital. But when you sit aloof because you are an expert or a government official, you say, well, Madam, sorry, let me just wait a bit. When you finish with your daughter, then I will tell you why we pay. You failed from the first principle. You are likely not to be successful that day in your bid. So, customer is king, they say, but behavior and the health thereof is also critical. In the 21st century, diagnosis, anywhere, either in church or mosque, hospital, school, whatever, connect, and connect. When you don't connect, you can't collect what you need. So what do I need? I need information. I need facts. I need figures. I need data. I need my analysis. So social connection enables you, one, to interact, two, to interface, and then three, to intervene. So you must be able to meet your client on these three grounds: interaction, by looking at what is on ground, what you meet there, in situ, and then interface. Here there are feeders and fillers. With that, you can do intervention. Don't forget, in social connection or critical engagement, we call it, in behavioral health, you do three things. You interact, interface, to be able to intervene. It is at that level you can penetrate your client. So let's go further. Look at this. Look at the triangle first. The social connection, competence is key. Know your onion. Character second. You must package and embellish it in character. And then capacity. These three, very, very critical. It will give you what I call immediate convergence with your client. You know your onions, you are an expert, you know where you are going, how to get there, and all of that. Showcase character. Capacity to stand up and dignify yourself, given what you know, as to observe the rules of the game. And then be able to build social infrastructure with your client. Be able to expand social infrastructure as you create values, donate values, contribute value to your client. These are the 10 elements of social connection. One is courtesy. Courtesy is like your key. Oh, how are you, sir? Oh, how are... With all sense of dignity and humility. Whether it's a small boy, it's an adult, it's a chief executive, it's a director, or a pauper. Please, as far as he's a client at that moment, courtesy is critical. Don't say it's just a small boy. Oh boy, how now? Eh? Once it's a client, please treat customer as king. Show the courtesy, compliment, greeting. Oh, how are things? How are your parents? Are you okay? Oh, good afternoon. And all of that. And then that goes to conversation. Sorry, this should be conversation. Conversation. You converse on the subject matter. Strike a conversation, or it is struck from the customer's head. And then that leads to communication. And it takes two to communicate. And then please do this with a milk of compassion. Let your own passion well up and go around your client in order to use what I call radar model. RADAR. In order to do behavioral capture, we taught yesterday. Compassion is the soft energy that will generate to be able to pull out the solution from the head to the hand. And I say this again. We've been talking about solution at hand. It is compassion that enables you to pull what you know in the head to the hand, to be able to engage your client who is in a situation on ground through a given strategy. So you need competence, knowing what to do and to doing what you know. And then you need capacity. What we do in solving problems and intervening is to actually build capacity. Is to look at the ongoing capacity, structure, system, style, strategy involved, and some other variables, and see where to tweak it for a better appeal and a better answer, best version. So every diagnosis must lead to capacity management on an overhaul where we purge our client of the bad and the ugly and create or curate for them the good order that is non-violent. So the character clause is also there. And then see what you are doing as contributing. You can't create anybody, neither can you change anybody. So what we do is just a steer to motivate them to carry out the actual change dynamics. No psychologist, no therapist can change anybody. Even medical doctors will tell you, we care, only God heals. So it applies in whatever that you are doing. Know for the fact that you are making contribution to help the individual to, on the final rung and analysis, to do the needful. And that's what leads us to convergence, where what you have to give and deliver is also consumed. Heat gain is equals to heat loss, the calorimeter method, where the forces of demand mix with the forces of supply to determine the equilibrium point and the equilibrium price. That is the point of convergence. It's very vital. And then you do the much needed follow-up as you consolidate plans for full delivery of service and product, so that in the final analysis, your client is okay, the needs are met. We do something in cyber resources. We don't just tackle issues people bring to us. We take them beyond what they look for. And why are we doing this? So that they will see the need for continuous engagement, so that before the challenge comes up, they know what to do, and then so that we can keep the line of communication flowing and radiant. When you over-deliver, it's a better appeal than under-delivery. Maybe tomorrow I'll talk about charges and all of that, but you need to get the basis first. When you contribute meaning to your client as a matter of priority, then you can have their money. But where your first emphasis is money, then you are likely going to be a quack. Every true therapist is passionate about delivering intervention and offering strategic solutions. Money is important, it's key. Like Elder Mustafa Sambe, the prof himself will say, if you go to filling station 10 times, you are going to pay 10 times. Yes, it's true. But at times, our work is so subtle and so critical that at times you put the issue of money aside, as important as it is, just to rescue a life. And then later, you start discussing this other one. But people, especially in our climate here, they have abused those kinds of privileges on many occasions. And some of us haven't recovered from the abuse. Under this very desk where I'm presenting now, I have myriads of bank instruments, IOUs, and all those things, and they run away. So, Dr. Sambe, one day you will come up and tell us how to just balance these two between compassion and commerce. Maybe I should allow you for a few minutes to talk to us. Over to you, Prof. Mustafa Sambe. How do we balance?
Well, I think from my own experience, I try to do by international practice. Some you introduce exactly what and what you desire to have as value for your service.
Mm.
And some already you know that they will come with a John Terry Long kind of thing. Then you garnish it with Yoruba psychophilosophy of Ogun tá a bá fowó ṣe ẹ̀yìn àrò ló ń gbé.
I'm sure
And
you
one
interpret.
coincidental and maybe disadvantage position to the therapist is you never can tell when you would have helped your client by way of equipment through your statements or questions.
Wow.
So once you have not collected what you deserve to collect, you won't see them again.
True. True.
Like I consult for schools and do this access arrangement and all of that. Can I tell you that from the parents,
yes, sir,
the school will collect 350,000 naira.
Wow.
And from the school, they will want to pay me 80,000.
Horrendous.
It took a parent who felt like, suspicious that I might be shortchanged.
Wow.
To send the school bill to me.
Wow.
And when I picked it up with the officer in charge, guess what she said? She said, yes, the school can bill anything and they can pay anything to the psychologist. If he doesn't want to take it, they look for somebody else. That is the height of insult on the professional. And that makes it more right. By international practice, anyway, a psychologist or therapist is supposed to earn by prepayment before even having appointment.
Yes.
That's one beautiful thing about therapy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that contribution, sir. But you know the opposite is the experience here. They feel, why not do something first? Meanwhile, people go to hospital, they pay all the bills. They say, just, doctor, don't worry. It's not, just go on. They settle all their bills. All the MRI, all the scans, all the whatever, whether there is a result there or not, all the drugs. Nobody goes to hospital to even price the bill. They just swallow it up. But when it comes to our own service, it is then they will remember and tell you all that has happened to them, what they are going through and all those. If I had a funny case about 2 years ago where a woman had to kneel down and started shouting and crying. Meanwhile, this boy, they flew him in from America for me to handle. And the boy with his American mentality watched his mother crying before a so-called therapist. And he said, Mom, you crying? I'm no longer interested. That was how I lost the case. Since that day, I learned my lesson. You are an adult, you are 18 and above. When I'm doing my preliminary diagnosis and what have you, I will say, Mama, please sit out first. Let me finish. No more sentiment. I lost whatever. And all the services I have given were not paid for. And the boy said, no more, I'm not doing it. And you see, when you don't attach value to your service, people don't take it seriously.
They will take it for granted.
Just take it for granted. They say it's philanthropy, it's a good man. Meanwhile, they will go where they won't get results. I'm paid there. So I believe We need a great deal of wisdom there to be able to interact. That's why in social connection, like I said, interact first. Interact. Through the point of interaction, you will even be able to cite their levels of understanding and maturity. And then what I do to break things down is that I classify and cluster my service arrangement. And you can't beat it. Okay? This is flat registration. And I take it as family registration because when it comes to therapy, psychosocial issue, behavioral health, mental health, what affects one in the family affects all. So I call it family registration. And it is one-off. That is what gives them entry. So that if at the end of pre-diagnosis and all of that, they are no longer interested, it is not refundable. They can go with that. And I discover on very many occasions, they come back because they have registered. So registering is a sign of taking their commitment and their trust. So I tell them, well, when you register, we admit you in, either as outpatient or we're coming to your field, your house, as retainership or what have you. And then you fill it. It's about 4 pages. You get all the bowel history, the 5W and 2H quotient and all of that. You put it there. Then we'll sit and draw out the lines of intervention and then present it to you as the sponsor or the client to say, this is the lines of intervention. We are going to run 7 assessments. We are going to carry out psychological tests, and this is the cost implication. And then therapy session goes this way. Then I tell them, well, for the test and whatever I'm going to conduct, that one is sacrosanct, is the amount. I can give you discount on my service. I even waive my service account. I will say my service is going to be free. But what will aid me to serve you better is this assessment. And you have to account for it. It's like going to run scan and all of that. The medical doctor and the lab scientist and every other person needs this to be able to ascertain the degree of vulnerability and the levels of culpability, as the case may be, to be able to carry out their own prognosis and every other thing. So, very vital. If you don't cluster like that, you'll be the one losing. And at the end of the day, they will even point accusing fingers and say, what has he done? Is it not just canceling? He just cancels us. But when you carry them along through interaction, interface is what will feed you back as you get their responses for an impact assessment. Because when they don't understand, you can have issues with them over all that. But when you now x-ray and outline for them to see, then they can make up their mind. Then I go ahead to say, sir, now we are going to take 75%, where you are not paying 100% now. Pay us 75% before we begin the procedure. And then at the end of 2 weeks, settle the balance. Now let them know, you see, psychosocial intervention, behavioral intervention protocols, it's not something you do and then you run away and come back. It's like opening up a woman through a cesarean session and you go away for 2 days. The woman could bleed to death and all of that. So it's the same. And ours is worst case scenario because you are checking up from neck up to be sure they are good neck down so that they can be great leg forward. So everybody in diagnosis and therapy, we need to know what we're doing and be able to cluster our lines of intervention. If you just do a mumble jumble thing, you will lose out. Let them see order. Let them see expertise. Carry them along to breaking down what is going on with them. Otherwise, they won't pay for your service. They will even tell you, sir, what did you do? Doctor, you only cancel me and you are billing me this month. So offer what I call itemized bill. So, sir, we're running 5 analyses, psychometric analysis. Each is this. Why not run 2? So then we'll let you know why we are not running 2 and all of those stuff. Because in therapy, you must be precise. There is no guesswork. We don't guess. We don't say, okay, arbitrarily didn't work. Okay, let me try you on a thing. Let me try you on a misopride. Let me try you on these. No. You have to carry out your diagnosis and be apt. Talking to people in the psychosocial and the whatever now. But when your own is business and all of that, you also need to do the 3 I in critical connection or engagement or social connection. You interact. When you get their feedback, it becomes an interface. And then where the 2 combines together, it gives you an intervention. And it is at intervention, you are rolling out your number of therapy, number of assessment, and some other things you are going to run in order to get the ultimate result. So please, very vital. There are cases you just use your initiative to say, okay, let me start this because of the urgency. For example, a man walked into us not too long ago and said he wanted to kill himself. And we saw truly evidence that this man actually wanted to commit suicide. So we can't begin to ask for his sponsor or his relation and all of that. We have to quickly do a first-hand thing, first aid thing, to calm him down, offer some services with a milk of kindness there and all of that. So that later you carry out some other things. So you need to have emotional intelligence to know which is urgent and important, to attend to it, not urgent but important, to defy it, not important but urgent, to delegate it, not urgent, not important, to cancel it. I think we did that last year. So we won't preoccupy our time doing that. So very vital. And then we have a format. I have told you you are a quack when you don't write down. And a client is talking, you are nodding head and say, you are just chatting. You are a quack, practicing quackery when you don't itemize, write down, and articulate your points, your issues, so that you can follow through with your client. Very vital. So look at your social intervention cycle. It should go this order. Can we all see my slide? This is how it is. Sorry, it actually begins from listening, not referral. And you say, listen to your client. Don't assume for them. Listen first. As you listen, and you see, I hope you know, listening is not just looking at the eyes of your client. You listen mentally, you listen emotionally, you listen physically. In listening, it's not the time you are typing on the laptop or computer and say, Madam, Madam, just keep speaking and multitasking. That's disregard and disrespect. you are adding more insult. You are adding more salt to the injury the person brought. You listen with rapt attention. Where you don't get where, you ask, you make inquisition, and then you showcase empathy. Empathy is critical, not sympathy. Don't tell your client, hey, yeah, sorry, you. Wicked people, wicked world. You are not, you are a professional. Mind what you say. Don't be too over emotional to the point that your client begins to see you needing therapy. Very vital. So, place empathy is critical, and then learn to converse. Don't lecture. Your client may have come with a heavy emotional duress, mentally warped. That's not the time to teach. Converse. Know where the shoe pinches. And then don't ever fault him or her because of his emotional state, mental state, physical state. Don't correct. You are not to correct. You are to intervene. You are not to do education. Though there are cases where you do education first in order to do intervention. But somebody who is already warped, skewed emotionally, you want to start lecturing, he can even start sleeping on you. So, converse, take it down, and then run your analysis, whichever way you're using. You're using psychometric analysis, you are using some other model and all of that, and then set the goal. Man, this is the situation on ground. This is the solution at hand. This is the strategy by which we are going to meet situation to join up with the solution we have. And then go ahead with an agreement to solve the problem. As to solve it, give referrals. Madam, do this, do that. These are your coping mechanism, things you have to observe and all that. Don't just solve a problem and leave the individual to go like that. No, you need to build frameworks for retention, frameworks for continuity, so that there will be no relapses of any sort. Give them things to do. Don't just say, avoid this, don't do this, run away from bad friends and all of that. Those are too peripheral. Build a framework in their lives that will engage and occupy them with your follow-up. Give them books, give them assignments, give them practical issues to do and to keep. And then it goes like that. One client that you manage very well will bring at least 7 others to you. So it's critical. You must do social connection to be able to do social intervention. When you don't connect, you cannot intervene. It is the connection that provides and paves the way for intervention. Before we are done today, people have often asked me, Doctor, how do you do it? I do all of these things and people just look at me and I walk away and all that. Or I know some certain things. How do I turn my skills to value? Whether as a teacher, as a business person, as a preacher, as a therapist, as a psychologist. What do I do to turn my skills to scale? How do I scale? When I talk, people enjoy me. When I serve out, my competencies. People enjoy me. They like it. But to pay me becomes difficult. I want to say maybe possibly you are not organized. When you don't organize, you will certainly agonize. So very pivotal. Get organized. You need a setting. You had my own setup to meeting clients and all of that. You don't just come and walk to me straight. No. There's a department that handles registration and all of that. And then the preliminaries and all that before it reaches my table. So you can't beat all of those protocols. And you see, people need to see structure. People relate to structure, not just the solution. Solution you have that is not coming out of structure is quackery. And that's why people will just feel that we are just doing it out of a heart of compassion. You are just offering suggestion. But where people see structure, from this to that, they say, car, they are professionals here. And then your atmosphere must look a bit professional. You can't do a professional job in a place that looks like the house of a cult member or family parlor. But you know, there are cases where you have become so excellent in your work. People can meet you anywhere. They know they are meeting the expertise there and all of that. So that's a different ball. So packaging is it. So everybody say after me, we package to manage in order to avoid the damage. I'm not hearing anybody. Okay, did I mute you? I've unmuted everybody. Say after me, we must package.
We must package
to manage.
We must manage
in order to avoid the damage.
In order to avoid the damage.
That is why we must check up from the neck up.
We must check up from the neck up.
In order to be good neck down.
In order to be good neck down.
So that we can be great leg forward.
So that we can be great leg forward.
Clap for yourself. So finally, before we are done this evening, I want to show you how to turn your skills to scale. Or to service that is profitable, that is lucrative. Number one, please teach what you know. Inform your client. Teach it. There's a world of difference between teaching and just guiding, instructing, directing, suggesting. No, teach. When I teach my client, they say, wow, in fact, this teaching is like my problem is solved because I'm now seeing myself. Value is going. And then target. Don't just do generic teaching like a university lecturer. Apology, Prof. Mustafa.
Carry on, sir.
He knows what I am saying. There's a world of difference between lecturing and therapy. So, but he is good in the two. He's a chief everywhere. So, target.
I'm still learning, sir. That's why I am in this class.
Okay, sir. Yeah. And that's what we call niche service. Don't be a general. Niche service. You want to enjoy income and enjoy flow in your target a niche service, niche product, niche client. I'm serving this for this case giving these resources at my disposal. Customize niches. And be very frank with your client. As you see me, I enjoy referrals from private and public hospitals. They refer cases to me. I also refer cases to places. In some of them, I do retainership services as well with them by some form of arrangement there. What you cannot do, don't say, I can do. They call this, you say, I can also handle that. You can. They just see you as not being deep. So, very vital. Please, targeted service. As a pastor, targeted impartation or prayer. As a business person, targeted sales based on need analysis of your client. I tell you, this thing works everywhere. And then trunk your service. Trunk it. Ma, this is the first stage. Sir, this is the second stage, this third stage. Don't mumble jumble everything together and you just arrive at answer. Uru to the answer. They won't pay. You will be saying you deliver value, but they don't see it. They just feel your advice there. And you know, when you advise people, they are not bound to take your advice. They will leave you and go to a more decent, more packaged, more articulate place where they will pay real money. They say, don't mind that man, he's a quack. Everything we ask, he say he can do it. And there was no order and all of that. So please trunk your service. Ma'am, this is the first thing we will start. After this, we go into this analysis. After that, we will see this and see that. When people see a trunked order of presentation and service, they say, Kai, this man is a professional. Kai, I'm likely to get result with this one because it took me through it all and showed me all he's going to do. I think I have hope and I have faith in his own therapy and all of that. So please trunk your service. Carry your client along. What you are going to do and at what point. Don't want just put everything together and say, in 3 days, we'll get result. Madam, just follow. No, they don't just follow. You need their emotional harmony with you to be able to even penetrate them, let alone contribute. So very vital, know how to trunk. And anything you do, Cyber Resources is out to help you trunk. This one, this term will do it for you. Don't be afraid of bills. Oh, doctor, mine is trading. Will help you scale. Oh, mine is teaching. Will also help you. Oh, I'm a therapist. Oh, I have an NGO. I want to do this and that. You can scale. And then from there, you trust out the service via agreement and arrangement, and then carry out the treatment plan, which is the intervention, really. And from there, trend the result. What do you do in trending the result? Show them how to integrate it. And we often say, in therapy, it is either you comply, otherwise you will complain. When you complain, it is because you are not complying. And when you are complying, you will not complain. That is therapy for you. So please, you trend it. And as you are trending it, what do you also do? Track the impact assessment. Oh, madam, how far now? How are you doing? What are your observations? What are your discoveries and all of that? Track it. So that at the end of the day, you are thrilling your client. Your client says, doctor, it's true. I did it. Oh, hey, see me. Oh, I'm light out. My head is no longer cranking. Oh, and all of that. And then translate it for further successes, continuation, and all of that. And then use it as a basis to train some other people, because you have a benchmark and all of that. So when you line up your skill set in this order, you are likely to make fun, catching fun. And so FUN is fun. When I do my work on various grants, I catch fun. But fun alone will not feed you. You need the D element, where you can say fun plus D gives you what? Fund. And that your D is a generic D. 10 Ds that convert what you know into finance and fund. But I'll summarize it in 3 because we must leave here by 4-6 or 6 on the dot. What are the letters? What is letter D? Embellishing that converts your fund, that which you are good at doing, to money. Fund. Letter D. 1 is discovery. The discovery of yourself, your value what, and the discovery of the need analysis of your client. The 2 must tally. Where you have offer and there is acceptance. Where demand is meeting supply. That is the first D. Discovery. The second D is development. Develop the business or the intervention proposal. Develop it. Sir, ma, this is the issue on ground. This is how we are going to sort it out. And then the last D is deliver the service. With this, fun in your heart, in your life, becomes fun in your pocket. Thank you very much, everyone. We'd like to stop here today, and tomorrow we'll be doing a final wrap-up. So please put all your questions together. Tomorrow we'll also entertain questions, and then we'll call it a day for this second season of the comprehensive reinforcement dynamics. We want to welcome our friend Lara Wise, Gideon Debris, and Coach Jennifer Oje on the Facebook, and a plethora of others who are joining through some other means, Facebook and the Zoom. So thank you so very much. Any comments? Thank you, Madam Juliana. Thank you. Any comment, any addition? Dr. Carol, any addition? Any comment? Thank you.
No comments, sir.
Dr. Chinedu, any comment? So we'll get this replay and that of yesterday ready, maybe later today, so that you can go over them and then you can put your questions together as we meet again tomorrow. Thank you so very much. Over to you, Dr.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.